Numbers on the right are where they are starting today, and that leads us to talk about some of those guys with our crack crew on pit road. Jamie Little, welcome back.
Thank you, Marty. As you can imagine, Joey Logano breathed a big sigh of relief after taking the pole earlier today. Why? Well, this morning he told me this race last year was their worst of the year. They threw that car out. They started over completely, and he said today they are so much better. He sees win number 7 in his sights. Vince Welch?
When Kyle Busch ran here in July, it was a forgettable result. Parts failure, torn up race car, 27th place finish. But crew chief Mike Beam says the 54 is leaps and bounds better this time around. They brought a new setup, new aero package, new suspension package. Kyle has won twice here before, but never in a KBM car. Today may be the day that happens. Dr. Punch?
Former Nationwide Series champion Brett Keselowski has 20 career victories. Folks, 6 of those have come on 1.5-mile tracks like this one. It was right here last September that Keselowski dominated, leading 158 laps on his way to victory lane. Today, though, he could have his work cut out for him. He told me in qualifying, my car was simply slow, but will be really good when they wave the green flag. He starts 16th. Dave Burns.
As a company, Roush Fenway has 307 NASCAR wins, but none of them have happened here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Last year, Carl Edwards led 35 laps. He did not win. This July, Ricky Stenhouse led 135 laps. He didn't win either, but Ricky believes he can win today and erase an offer for Jack at this track. Marty?
All right, thank you, Dave. And as we get ready to head to commercial break, want to show you the one person we're going to be talking to next. It is the driver of the number 70, Johanna Long. That's right, she had a great run going last week at Richmond. We'll get her thoughts on today's event when we return to Chicagoland. Back here at Chicagoland Speedway, you can see the cars have pulled out onto the racetrack for the first of the pace laps as we're getting ready to go green for 200 laps around this mile-and-a-half oval. Johanna Long is our in-race reporter, and her numbers so far in that number 70 car, 16 starts with 7 top 20 finishes. His best, she ran 12th at Daytona back in July and had that great run going last week at Richmond. Let's talk to her, DJ.
Johanna Long, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, thanks for talking with us today. And after another solid qualifying effort here today, starting 17th, I know you're excited about this race. But you have a great short track resume. And last weekend at Richmond, you sure showed that talent. But how difficult has it been to learn these cars at much higher speeds on these mile-and-a-half tracks?
Well, you know, it's really different. You know, you're just keeping your momentum up into the corners and staying in the gas as much as you can. Came from a short track background, but when I come to these, it's a little out of my comfort zone. But I feel really good about today. We just got to work on the car, get it a little bit better for me.
Jenna, our next question comes from our mailbag, and George in Indianapolis, Indiana asks, how far do you think your team has gone since the beginning of the year, and have you met your goals so far this season?
You know, it's definitely been a work in progress. So these guys in MMA Motorsports never give up, and we're doing the best. We're doing really good this year. We just got to keep it going and hope for another decent run today.
Well, thanks for talking with us. You have a great day out on the track. We'll talk to you later on. Now, Andy's going to talk to your crew chief.
Thank you.
Hey, Mark Gutekunst, Andy Petrie, you have us?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, Mark, great job last week with a great run, and you guys have really made a lot of headway this year with that team. What do you have to do to make that next step to take those kind of runs and turn them into top 5 finishes?
Oh, everything has to be right when you come play with these guys here. It's just working out every fine detail on every single thing, from chassis to bodies to picker to everything. Just keep working.
Well, Mark, what do you think today as far as strategy goes? You think it could come down to a strategy play and maybe even a fuel mileage race at the end?
Yeah, definitely. We get long green flag runs here. Good news is the weather came back to our spring race, so we can go off of those notes. So it should be just take it as it comes here.
Okay, Mark, I hope you're on the right side of the strategy, and good luck today. Thanks for talking to us.
Yep, thanks.
And our over-the-wall man today is Jeremy Marsh. He's the rear tire carrier for that number 70 car. There he is. And Jeremy, we've documented how your team, you know, is not as well funded. You actually have sort of old school racing because you're carrying multiple jobs as well as many others. Give us an idea about your work week.
That's right, Marty. Besides showing up here in an open trailer, I work on the car all week at the shop, prepare it for the race. tune on it during the practice sessions, getting ready to qualify, and we got a decent qualifying start today, and now we got to focus on fast pit stops and get Johanna out there in the lead.
All right, you be safe down there.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a great day. All right, we've also got our dual path onboard cameras for you, and we'll show you all of those. First up will be Elliott Sadler with the Chevy onboard camera. Austin Dillon with the American Ethanol camera. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., our Ford EcoBoost camera.
All right, we're going to use second gear 4075. Second gear 4075. 10-4, 4075, second gear.
Danica Patrick also has one of our onboard cameras with GoDaddy.com. Brad Keselowski with the Dodge onboard camera.
I found a good seat. I'll probably just sit here and let my brain do the work, and you do some of that driving stuff, and this will work out okay.
10-4, man. That's what a team does. Play the strength.
Some of that driving stuff. Alex Bowman is in the number 30, the 19-year-old rookie making his first start with the Allegiant Air onboard camera. Number 31, Justin Allgaier, fresh from Florida Gulf Seafood camera.
Jimmy, I know that at some point you're going to possibly want me to save, so just let me know when you do, and I'll save for you.
10-4 on that.
And last but not least, the young lady that we already talked to, Johanna Long with the Nationwide Insurance onboard camera. All right, pace car is into turn number 3 as we get ready for the 14th time to go racing here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series at Chicagoland Speedway. It is Logano and Dillon up front. Stenhouse, Hornish in row number 2. Sadler, Kyle Busch in row number 3. Then Paul Menard, Michael Annett in row 4. And rounding out your top 10 is Mike Bliss and Justin Allgaier. Pace car pulls down. And Joey Logano slowly bringing him to the acceleration zone. And the Dollar General 300 at Chicagoland is green. One of the things that's great about Chicago, you can run multiple lines, and we're seeing it early.
Yeah, I was wondering if this inside was going to be the place to start, and for these restarts later on, Logano looks like he's going to make it work and lead the first lap, but just barely.
And look at Ricky Stenhouse getting shuffled a bit. The 2 of Elliott Sadler is underneath him. They're side by side now.
In fact, Kyle Busch got a good run up on the outside, using that outside lane through 1 and 2.
On board with Stenhouse.
Yeah, Stenhouse had to get out of the throttle a little bit there, not to get into the left rear quarter panel of Kyle Busch.
There's 1 and 2 in the points, side by side. Stenhouse was running the high line through practice. He's back up there again.
Yeah, I think he just slipped up there that time. I think he didn't quite mean to be that high.
So as they come by, it's Logano, Hornish, Dillon, Kyle Busch, Elliott Sadler. That's your top 5 with Stenhouse now 6th.
It was unanimous pretty much in the garage area that Ricky Stenhouse on long runs had this field covered by a wide margin, but car's not working exactly to his liking at this point in time, but only a couple of laps in.
Kyle Busch taking the high line through 4. There you get your first glimpse at Danica Patrick. Side by side with the 99 of Kenny Wallace. That's right. Kenny is back in behind the wheel. And oh, we've got caution out as the 39 of Dexter Stacy has spun it around in turn number 4. What was that we were saying about long green flag runs?
That comes later.
Oh, okay. All right, let's go back and we'll pick it up in progress here for Dexter Stacy.
Yeah, this looks like it starts back in the middle of turns 3 and 4, looking at the black marks. Yeah, he was up kind of high and got loose. Got him locked down, trying not to hit anything or get hit.
He does a good job. No damage.
Was running 27th at the time of the spin. And he's got 4 fresh tires back out onto the track. Only 4 laps completed here Andy, I don't see anybody, unless you've got a major issue with your car, I don't see anybody wanting to come down pit road.
Well, Dexter Stacy had a problem. He needed to pit, but the leaders are not going to pit. Just 4 laps. They haven't even got the tires warmed up good yet.
One of the guys that we should have talked a little bit about was Brian Scott. He's done well here at Chicago in the past, but he started dead last in this field because of a spin during qualifying. He has managed to work his way towards the front. In fact, he has picked up to 23rd, and there he is. So obviously getting things back on track after a very dismal qualifying. Race leader is Joey Logano, followed by Hornish, Austin Dillon, Kyle Busch, and Elliott Sadler. And we're going to step aside quickly. We'll reset it and get ready to go back to green flag racing here at Chicagoland. Back here at Chicagoland, under our first caution early in this race, Joey Logano has picked up on the outside this time instead of starting on the inside as he did at the start of the race. But let's get an update on that 6 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. How about it, Dave Burns?
We'll get the report from the man himself, communications over his radio.
About a 3 to 4 tight right now, Mike.
We expected it might start off a little tight here.
Huh, thanks for telling me. I thought it was going to be loose, so I drove it really, really hard.
I did check with Mike Kelly to see if that was sarcasm or if he really did drive it hard. He said no, he was putting the foot to it. He wasn't really accounting for the slickness under the sunny conditions today. The temperatures changed, guys. It's warm.
And he's starting right alongside Elliott Sadler. Green flags in the air. We're racing again in Chicago.
I think long to get 3 wide.
Yeah, they're trying it, and it's working.
Allgaier got a great restart there, pulled up on the outside of Menard.
And you saw Sam Hornish Jr. He got a nose in front of the 18, but now Logano back out in front.
And this is where you have to be a little careful down on the inside, try to make it all work. It's really rough down there, plus you lose a little bit of your aero with the air getting to your rear spoiler. Can get loose. Looks like racing to the checker, Sam Hornish would have won that one.
And Hornish, you're right, takes the lead officially at the stripe. But you can throw a blanket over the top 5 cars. And here comes Logano with the momentum on the high side. Right behind Joey in that 54 is Kyle Busch. Again, he goes high. Austin Dillon in the 3, trying to put a little pressure on Hornish, and there he goes down below the line. Now that is okay. That is not out of bounds. Still going to try it 3 wide. Whoa, and Austin has to lift.
Yeah, he really didn't have the angle to get in down into turn 1. Tried to stay in the throttle, washed up. He's going to lose some spots here.
And the 2 guys he doesn't want to see going in front of him right there on either side, as you've got the 2 of Elliott Sadler and the 6 of Ricky Stenhouse. What, all 4 points leaders together right there in that group. Paul Menard in the 33 trying to crowd the 12.
Yeah, Sam Hornish kind of the biggest loser right there as the 3 car of Austin Dillon slid back up in front of him. He had no choice but to get out of the throttle, and it's cost him about 4 spots.
Let's go back and take another look at how tight this really was. Austin coming up.
Yeah, you can just see. Yeah, this after he made the pass there on the very bottom going into 1. Like I said, he just didn't have the angle, and then he just had to check up a little bit.
Sam also had to check up, and that was what allowed the 33 of Menard to come along. Let's go on board with Elliott Sadler.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Bottom's good, bottom's good. 3 wide, 3 wide, you're on the bottom. 3 wide, 3 wide.
So there you see race leader Joey Logano. He has stretched out a 1.2-second lead over Kyle Busch. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has recovered and back into 3rd position. And there you see the 3 of Austin Dillon and the 2 of Elliott Sadler. They're duking it out for 4th.
Of course, Stenhouse ran the majority of his practice. You can see he got a big run. Kyle Busch tried to put a little bit of a slide move up in front of him, even though he was in that 2nd spot. You see Stenhouse going to the bottom. It's just a fast race car this weekend here at Chicagoland.
Yeah, this is the 6th that we saw yesterday in both practice sessions. He's coming to life. Another guy that has picked up after not such a good qualifying effort is that 22 car of Brad Keselowski. Brad started 16th, and he has already moved up 10 spots.
Yeah, it surprised me that he qualified that far back. I was wondering if he had some kind of problem, or maybe he just knew what he needed for the race and didn't want to try to sacrifice any of that to make a good qualifying run. Looking really good right now, though. Doc S22 car is getting it done.
Interesting, Andy, exactly what you said. A lot of other drivers asked him on the pre-race podium, hey, what's the deal? Why'd you qualify so poorly? And Brad had this very wide smile, sort of reminiscent of Dale Earnhardt Sr. He said, oh, we're just slow. Then he said, in qualifying trim, but when they dropped the green, we're going to be just fine.
Well, Brad has won 5 of his last 12 1.5-mile track starts, including here last September. That's a pretty good record on the 1.5 miles.
I think if you check Keselowski's record, it's pretty good everywhere in this series.
That's true. Total of 20 wins. Not too shabby. Championship in his hip pocket. And right now he's on the march. He was the 3rd quickest that last lap. Let's go back a little deeper in the field. The 31 is Justin Allgaier. The 43 is Michael Annett. And that's the battle for 10th. Had a chance to talk to Annett. You know, the rumors were flying this week that he might be going to that 43 Cup ride. He said, no, wait a minute. He said, they've talked to me about a handful, maybe 5 to 10 races. I would love to do that. The 43 ride was never brought up. And then he added something really interesting. He said, I'm not ready for full-time sprinkle. I got to win some races down here in Nationwide.
Well, you have to do that. This is a place that you learn. You learn a lot about driving. You learn how to win. If you think you're going to go to the Cup Series and learn how to win, you're sadly mistaken there. That's where the best are.
There's a season comparison.
Yeah, he has had a great season so far. He's making a lot of progress. In another season here, he might be ready.
Absolutely. I agree 100% there, Andy. And he finished 5th here in July, one of his 5 career top 5 finishes. And as we move back to some side-by-side action, that is Paul Menard on the high side, past Sam Hornish Jr. So move Menard into that 7th spot, and the race leader is Joey Logano here at the Dollar General 300. That is next Saturday on ESPN. You're looking at race leader Joey Logano. He is one of 2 leaders. He has led 22 laps. Sam Hornish led the other single lap. And his lead over Ricky Stenhouse Jr., you can see it there, that's 1.5 seconds. 3rd place is Kyle Busch. Austin Dillon is 4th. Elliott Sadler is 5th. And there is the best battle on the racetrack in the top 10, as these two have been going after each other back and forth the last couple of laps.
Yeah, it's been about the best battles the whole race. They've swapped that position back and forth a couple of times, and looks like they're both trying out different lines.
Sam Hornish in that 12 has tasted victory lane here twice in the IndyCar Series back in 02 and 03. I'm sure he'd like to taste it one more time in the Nationwide Series. And how about we give a shout out to Mike Bliss. Had a good qualifying effort in that 44. Started 9th, and he is running very well right now in the 9th position.
He does a really good job in this 44 car. Every week, it seems like he qualifies in the top 10, keeps it up there all day long, and looks like this car's driving pretty good today, Dave.
DJ talked to Mike right before the race. He said this is a pretty good car. They actually wrecked it at Atlanta, replaced the nose and some side work on the car, but they feel pretty good about it. Interestingly, on a budget, they pick up scuffed tires from the Cup side of the garage. But I asked crew chief Paul Clapperud, well, how many lap scuffs are they? He said, yeah, just 2 laps. So they're really pretty good all the way around. And if Mike can hold his position on the track, they'll try to keep him in position on pit road.
Well, Bliss started in the top 10 in the last 3 races, including that 9th starting position today. And right in front of him, he's getting a great view of this continuing battle between Sam Hornish Jr. in the 12 and Paul Menard.
They settle out now. Looks like Sam's going to be able to hold this spot for a little while. Paul's not giving up, though.
Drop back a little farther in our coverage as you see some of the others. There's Kenny Wallace going through, and there is Danica Patrick. She is running in the 14th spot right now, and closing on her quickly is the 11 of Brian Scott. Started in the back of the field, 42nd to be exact, and he is now up into the 15th position. Now, the reason he had to start all the way back there was what happened during qualifying, and he just had a problem coming out of 4.
Yeah, problem was lack of traction coming out of 4, and got down, slid through the grass,
And watch, he's going to go past the Geico Gecko. And when he did that, he actually officially passed start-finish.
Yeah, and that was the completion of his first lap and the beginning of his second. So he basically just wasted both laps, so he had to start in the rear. But, boy, this car's coming to the front now, Doc.
Indeed he is. He's trying to make a pass, and he does make a pass on Danica Patrick. That's for 14th position. Folks, he has gained 28 spots in 29 laps. And the reason he spun in qualifying, by the way, last year in this race, he got his first and only pole. He was hustling this car, trying to get a pole, and it was loose that stepped out on him. He says, this is my best racetrack. His career best finish came here in this race a year ago, third. He wanted to improve on that, maybe get his first win today. Remember, this track has produced 4 first-time Nationwide Series winners.
In fact, Doc, 2 of his 3 career best finishes are here at Chicagoland. So you're right, this is his best track.
Well, he is really working that wheel, though. You can see working that high lane. He's fast right now, but he's having to work for it.
Well, let me clean up a little bit before we go to break. We've got several cars off behind the wall, including Raines, Gase, Cook, Riggs, Carter, Harlan, Yaley, Wise, Miller, and Andrews. All those cars are behind the wall right now, but everybody else that's out on the track is still chasing Joey Logano, but his lead is now under a second. Welcome back to the Dollar General 300 at Chicagoland Speedway, and make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. We saw our race leader Joey Logano put the 51 of Jeremy Clements a lap down. That means we now have 22 cars on the lead lap, and that other yellow car, we can affectionately called the school bus because it's sponsored by Bluebird, is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And guys, the lead that was once as high as a second and a half is 0.8 of a second. So let's listen in on Stenhouse's radio.
What's the biggest thing you think you need help with, bud?
Really need right side grip, Mike, especially up off.
Yeah, we think that's the way it's going to go. 18's complaining about it right now, getting bad for him.
10-4, it's more of my wheelhouse. That's why we're catching him.
10-4, bud.
And I'm not sure exactly what right side grip means. That must be some communication that they use. I don't know how you can give them any more right side grip because you try to give them all you can from all 4 wheels. Usually you talk about a balance thing, whether you're loose or tight, but that's a little different terminology.
Boy, Michael Annett and Brad Keselowski, they've got a great battle going on as Annett is in that 6th spot. Keselowski wants it.
Hey, this is something we've seen Michael Annett. His car doesn't seem to be a lot of these.
Whoa, look out. Sweet across the infield grass. And he'll pull it onto pit road. And our second caution is out. Brad was running 17th. And he's going to keep on going and get back out on the track. Here we go.
We talked about the high speeds here, and they have to drive these cars kind of loose, and it was just a little too loose.
Got behind a little bit.
Yeah.
A little behind on the steer.
And guys, even in practice, people have had more trouble with turn 4 than anywhere else on the track.
Yeah, it's just it's high speed. I mean, you want to get back to the throttle. There's bumps up there. Again, to make these cars turn in the center, you're going to be a little bit free on the exit, and there's not a lot of room, especially you get up towards the top. If you start losing the front and make any turn with the steering wheel, then you get yourself in trouble.
Well, a quick note, Johanna Long had just been put a lap down. She's going to be the beneficiary of this yellow as she will get back on the lead lap. And we're getting ready to gear up for pit stops here as we have completed 39 of our 200 laps. And they're saying the pit road is still closed. So they'll have to make another full lap around this 1.5-mile oval here at Chicagoland. We mentioned Johanna Long is going to get the free pass. Dave Burns, you have more?
She's had her hands full today, Marty. Free through the center and off the corner was the original problem. But then later in the run, she said this car is so tight coming off the corner, it's hard to turn. I have to saw at the wheel to get it to work for me. So they'll have to make a number of adjustments for her on this pit stop.
see Joanne. Pops up the visor just a brief moment. Hopefully pit road will be open this next time by. And we are getting word from NASCAR that it will. So they're just coming out of turn number 2 right now. Let's talk about, would you gamble on 2 tires at this point, or do you want 4, crew chief?
If I'm Joey Logano, I'm not going to gamble on 2. I'll get 4. Any of those leaders probably take 4. It is an opportunity for some of the cars back in the pack that are really struggling to try to get in track position, maybe steal a little bit if they want to give it a shot. But I think, it'd be a gamble.
If you ask the driver, I'm going to say 4 tires. This racetrack's lost a lot of grip. It's tough enough with 4 tires. If you can get 6 on me, I'll take that.
Well, the old Tyrrell F1 car had 6 tires.
Oh, yeah?
That actually raced under those conditions. They've just about made it to pit in, so that means we're going to get everybody up on the wall and get our 4 pit reporters ready to go. And here comes Joey Logano leading them down with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. following, along with Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, and the number 2 of Elliott Sadler. Dave Burns, you're up.
You heard second place Stenhouse, upper left corner, describe his race car. He further clarified it tight in the center, a little snappy loose off. Sunoco fuel and an air pressure adjustment for Ricky. Vince?
Kyle Busch tied all the way through. 4 tires, air pressure adjustment in all 4, and Sunoco fuel. Austin Dillon, upper right-hand corner of your screen, says it's a 6 tight on a 10 scale. Air pressure adjustment in 4 for Austin as well. Jamie?
Joey Logano said he wants to take off better and be better the first couple of laps. 4 tires, air pressure adjustment. He will win the race off the pit road. Of course, he filled it up with Sunoco fuel, Mark.
And the gainer, Austin Dillon, picks up 2 spots, as does Brad Keselowski. And the big winner, look at Brian Scott. He has cracked into the top 10 as he picks up 3 spots. We'll reset the field and go green again when we come back. Then during that round of pit stops, our over-the-wall man, Jeremy Marsh, we talked about the fact he has multiple responsibilities on race day. He is the rear tire carrier.
Okay, here we go. 4 tires, a little bit of track bar.
And we mentioned that Johanna was the beneficiary of the free pass. She gets back on the lead lap. That means we have a total of 22 cars on the lead lap right now.
Yeah, she told me yesterday after practice, 1 set of tires, her race car was loose. The other set of tires they put on made the car really tight in the center. She wasn't exactly sure which car she might have when this race started today, so hopefully that track bar adjustment will be good for her.
Okay, Joey Logano has gone back to the inside for this restart as the race leader. There's row 2 with Stenhouse and Kyle Busch, and Keselowski and Elliott Sadler side by side. Paul Menard, Michael Annett in row 4. Brian Scott cracking the top 5 with Sam Hornish Jr. right alongside, and green flag is back in the air. What great restart for the 18. Saw Michael Annett open the door for the 12 of Sam Hornish. He went right up the middle. On board with Danica Patrick. She's running 12th. Stenhouse, hands full. He's side by side with the 3, and now he's pulling in ahead of Austin Dillon. But here comes Dillon on the crossover move. Can't get it done.
And Ricky Stenhouse wasn't wanting to allow that 18 car to get too far away from him this time. Made up a lot of ground on that last run.
Boy, he
pretty
is
high right there.
Here comes the 3 of Dillon underneath.
Seems like Stenhouse, he's just, instead of backing off, he'll just take that momentum and take it wherever he has to go, if he has to go all the way to the wall.
Trouble for the 88 of Cole Witt.
Stay in the middle, stay in the middle, stay in the middle, stay in the middle, stay in the middle.
He's not going to make it to pit road. He can't get to pit road.
Yeah, he's got
now he's going to spin.
Got left rear down maybe, I'm not sure. Got something going on. Yeah, definitely left rear.
Left rear, you're right. Caution is
Get
out.
rolling there. Get rolling there. Keep stopping there. You're good now. Just creep around the apron there.
Tough break for Cole as he was running 12th.
Go easy.
All right, let's go back and see if we can see exactly what happened.
Yeah, it looks like Justin Allgaier's exhaust pipe probably caught that left rear tire.
On board with Justin Allgaier.
11, keep in the middle. Keep in the middle. Still there. Good with him. All clear.
And then here's the tail end where he just couldn't hold on to it any longer.
Oh, you got a left rear tire down. You can't hardly apply any power at all. It'll just spin the car around in a circle. Looks like he was trying to get it going to get back around because he had missed the entrance of pit road.
You can see right there he's in between turns 3 and 4 right now.
They're going to have a tough time he gets on pit road and at least changes the left side tires this first time, not losing a lap. Be close.
It's a balancing act. How fast do you go to try to get that distance on the field to make this without losing a lap or tear the quarter panel off the left rear?
Well, here's a great view. There is the pace car coming around, and we'll step aside. We'll let you know what happens to Cole Witt, but it does look like he is going to go off of pit road and stay on the lead lap. Look how close this was. Crew did a great job.
Yeah, we said it was going to be close. That's the cutoff for the pace car. You have to be across, and he makes it barely. Oh, he had 10 feet to spare.
Now, he did come back and make a second stop to finish all their service, so let's reset it for you. It's Logano again, down low on the inside. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. alongside. Then in row 2, it's Dillon and Kyle Busch. Then Keselowski and Sadler, and we're back to green.
Logano gets a great start.
Yeah, that inside lane was the one that the drivers chose the most, the leaders chose the most back here in July. So, see, Logano figured out that one time that he restarted on the outside wasn't where he wanted to be.
Last note we'll pass along. Eric Darnell got the lucky dog. 23 cars on the lead lap. Seven of Danica Patrick for a moment looked like it was going to go 3 wide there. Got side by side between, and now let's go 3 wide. And boy, Kyle Busch gets a great run on the 54, and he's going to pick up 2 spots maybe.
Yeah, really used the draft well there. These cars up over 180 miles per hour at this racetrack. See, Kyle Busch put that to good use in his talent.
Here comes Brad Keselowski trying to work his way in as he moves right up on the back bumper and then has to lift because he had no more room. Boy, Joey Logano right now, he has led 51 of our 52 laps. Second place right now is Kyle Busch. Third, Stenhouse, Keselowski, and Dillon. That's your top 5. And there's Austin trying to get underneath the 22. It's Elliott Sadler on the high side. Michael Annett in the 43 underneath him.
Michael Annett's got a really good race car here today. It doesn't take off that well on these restarts, but as we saw right before that caution that Brad Sweet brought out, he was making his way back towards the top 5.
Saw Paul Menard in the 33 go on board with Justin Allgaier. He's 11th. That's Mike Bliss right in front of him. And you're right, there's the 43, and Annett just doesn't look like it's really that strong on the short run.
But if we see a typical Chicago race, that'll benefit him because we normally see some longer green flag stuff, especially towards the end of these races, and that'll allow him to make up some spots then.
Running that high line right now, and Bliss trying to go underneath on the low side. Well, there is Bliss, followed by the 31 of Justin Allgaier. Dave Burns, you got news on both of them?
Marty, Mike Bliss's car would not turn for him. They got 4 tires on that stop. The car behind him, the 31 of Justin Allgaier, his car was loose in. He got 4 tires on that stop as well. Interestingly, both lost positions on pit road because of spring rubbers. In Justin Allgaier's case, they put a spring rubber in the left rear. They took them out of the left rear of Mike Bliss's. Guys, you might explain, as we see that bumper-to-bumper action, why that takes so much more time on pit road.
Well, it just takes time. You have to reach in there. I mean, it just disrupts the flow of the pit stop. Sometimes you just make the decision you're going to do that because you want the car to be better, but you definitely are calculating losing time on pit road.
You saw Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as he was getting close there for a bit and then had to breathe the throttle. And now he's dropped back, and everybody's sort of holding station now through those top 5 spots.
Yeah, going back to what Dave was saying, I mean, it's this, when you make a wedge adjustment or a track bar adjustment, it's usually done by the tire carrier, and he's at that point doesn't have any specific duty while the tire changer is still hitting lug nuts. But when you do that, make a spring rubber change, you have to basically pause in the middle of the pit stop because you have to reach inside there to the spring, and then you can carry back on the stop.
Say, watching Kyle Busch here, the adjustment they probably made there, this is the best seen this race car look with this team this year, especially on one of the bigger tracks.
It's like this 3-car Boston Dillon, though, has closed the gap on both of these leaders.
Here comes Kyle as he goes down low. He's getting closer to Joey Logano. He'll start 18th tomorrow in the Cup race. Let me correct that. He's going to start 21st in the Cup race.
You're right, Andy. I really like the way that Austin Dillon is looking here today. That race car looks very stable. He's able to go on restarts and hanging right here with the leaders.
Austin Dillon, who won the truck race here back in September of 2011. Trying to close in. He's running third. There they are, the top 3 in your screen.
Yeah, this track reminds me a lot of Kentucky. It's got a lot of bumps, a lot of character in it. Austin Dillon won the race at Kentucky with this style of racetrack. You can see right there just how rough the track is. Seems to really kind of play to his strength.
And you have to drive it a little bit like that. I never raced at Kentucky as we see a battle for the lead now. Kyle Busch with a great run off of turn 2.
Oh, and here comes Dillon right along with him. So all of a sudden, Joey Logano, who had led 58 of 59 laps, goes from first to third.
Yeah, Kyle Busch led all of about, what, 12 feet?
Yeah.
Austin Dillon goes from third to first.
Enjoy the view, boss man.
Enjoy the view. Austin Dillon out in front, but Kyle Busch is, wait a minute. Going to try and take it back from him. He's right there. Going down the backstretch, which really isn't a backstretch. There's a pretty big curve there.
It's not a back straightaway. It's a back stretch. But
yeah.
It's got a little curve to it.
Here comes 54, and he's around. Maybe he'll lead officially this time at the stripe. I don't know. Here comes Austin back.
Kyle might have it this time.
Yeah, by half a car length. So he becomes our 4th different leader. There's some great racing up front right now as Austin Dillon coming right back on him.
I bet Kyle Busch thinking, man, what is it with these Dillon kids? Got Austin and Ty. He had to race Ty in the truck race at Atlanta for the win. Actually lost that one.
And this one's far from over. Working lap number 62 of 200. Joey Logano's had a great view of this action. He's running in third. There's your top 5 here at Chicago.
With the top left back in the sunshine.
4 different leaders, 6 lead changes, and you're looking at first and second on your screen right here at Chicagoland. Kyle Busch, and what DJ was saying during the break is maybe their best run going all year long in this 54 car. And young Austin Dillon is here. He comes again as they've been trying this back and forth several times.
Yeah, it looks like this is oh man,
well, he got loose
close
right there and had to use up. Kyle Busch gave him a little room, all that he could give him because he was against the wall. But
yeah, that looks to be Austin Dillon's strength is getting off of turn 4. Seems like Kyle's a little better off of turn 2.
This is where Austin Dillon's really making time right there. As you can see, he really can get down into the corner, make speed, get back to the throttle, but he can't make the pass before he gets back to turn 1, where it's really rough on the inside of the racetrack. And so Kyle Busch is going to be able to carry this momentum and speed. See if Austin can stay with him. Boy, he got that left front hook down on the bottom that time.
And he slides up in front of him. Now let's wait and see what happens going into 3.
Well, he wanted to make sure that Kyle wasn't going to cross back over there because he knows he's much better down the bottom right here.
Got some lap traffic. That's Jeremy Clements in the 51 heading for pit road. Well, it's sort of settled down now, so why don't we go up to speed with Nationwide Insurance and Vince Welch. You're up.
Well, this is exactly the kind of run that Austin Dillon needed today. They came into this race third in the championship standings, 30 points behind. And crew chief Danny Stockman Jr. told me, we need wins. Wins is what we're going for every time out. And if it looks like we don't have the car to get it, then we got to settle. But we're loading off the truck, going for victories. They felt like they had a car that could do that here this weekend. As far as the 54 as Kyle Busch is concerned, DJ, you hit it right on the money. Kyle was better in 1 and 2, but said if I could get some help in 3 and 4, I'd be money, but I just can't get off the exit. A little too free off the exit in 3 and 4. Jamie?
Well, Joey Logano behind him started on the pole for the 4th time this year. Now on the last stop, he said, I want the car to take off better on the starts. He wants to be better in the first 2 laps. Well, he was, but he faded a bit. But despite being passed by 2 cars, he says the balance is actually better. Dave?
Jamie, most everyone we talked to today told us, yeah, we're okay, but we still got to beat the 6th, the odds-on favorite for today. But under the second caution, Ricky Stenhouse explained why he hasn't gone to the lead yet.
You're going to have to give me something that turns, man. I can't run this thing hard like I want to or need to, so we'll have to get this thing turning. Yeah, I just can't run this thing hard even on new tires, man. Just way too tight.
And it was, as we've seen with this young driver, he loves to drive the race car hard, and right now he's just hanging on to the next pit stop.
And Elliott Sadler won this race back in the spring, and they brought that same race car, but they wanted to improve it. They wanted to focus on the longer run, which is usually what we see at this racetrack. But he said he's been pretty much loose all day, and that's not what you want early in this race. They made a track bar adjustment, hopefully to help that, Doc.
And behind him, Brad Keselowski started 16th, thought he would drive right to the front. He got to the top 5 and sort of stopped. He's got an issue, had an issue with the front of the car, not gripping the track, air pressure change. It has gotten better. He said, now it's good on exit, but still tight in. He said, guys, what I need to fix it, you can't get me to pit stop. I need a sway bar change. Jamie.
And Paul Menard behind him. This is his 5th of 7 planned races this year, and since the beginning of this race, he too has been loose. So they pulled a spring rubber, and now he's saying his car is still loose, so more big adjustments coming for the next stop.
43 car behind him, Michael Annette, and they told Michael, they said, you know, the car is loose now, but it's going to come to you like it did in the very first run. Michael said, no. The first run it did come to me, and I was able to run people down, but it's still very, very loose as he makes a move on the inside of Sam Hornish, guys.
So you have Michael Annette, then Paul Menard in 9th, Mike Bliss running in 10th. We have a total of 13 cars officially out of this race, and Jeremy Clements has pulled behind the wall and potentially could be our 14th car. And as far as number of cars on the lead lap, well, it is now 21 as Johanna Long has just been put 1 lap down once again. This battle continues between the 43 and the 12, Annette and Hornish. I mentioned the fact Johanna Long has just gone a lap down. She's running in 22nd position. Here's her radio, guys.
Did overall grit, big time. Whatever you did, freed me so much. I don't have no control. When you tighten me up, I get tightened up off the corner. You free me up where I need to be freed up, and I get freed up in the, get in right to the center. I need to be freed up off, not into the center.
Well, you can tell she's really struggling with that thing, and they're trying to make adjustments to make it better. And when they're making those adjustments, it's not affecting the car where she needs it. And I think that's really good input that she's given the team. They really need to make an adjustment, though.
That's 5th place Elliott Sadler just going by Johanna in that number 70. And right now, everybody is chasing Austin Dillon. He has opened up a 2.4-second lead over Kyle Busch with Joey Logano, who has led the most laps, 58 today, running 3rd.
It's a busy weekend at Chicagoland, and tomorrow we kick off race 1 of the chase, the Geico 400 at Chicago, 1 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. the American Le Mans Series at Virginia International Raceway tomorrow night, 5 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. Then the O'Reilly Auto Parts NHRA Nationals, the finals, 8:30 Eastern tomorrow night, again on ESPN2. And next weekend, the NASCAR Nationwide Series returns, this time at Kentucky, 3:30 in the afternoon. That is next Saturday. 84 laps complete at Chicagoland right now, and out front, a young man we've had our eyes on for a while, Austin Dillon, fighting for a championship in his first year in this series.
Yeah, Nicole, he really got himself behind a couple weeks ago. He was back to 30 points out of the lead starting this race. Now they've whittled away on it. They picked up 7 points. He's only 23 out right now. Richard Childress and the entire RCR gang has been putting everything the company's got into this car to get it back up where it needs to be. They really feel this car can win the championship this year. We talked earlier in the show how we really thought this kid's going to come on like gangbusters, and it looks like he's doing it right now, guys.
You know, and we looked at Rusty's pick to win the race, Brad Keselowski. The way he drove up through the field to get into top 10 was amazing. Expected him to go further, but he seems to now have stalled in about 6th or 7th place. Seems like they need one more adjustment to make a change on that car to get that speed back in it if he wants to get to the front.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It looks like a lot of these guys have settled in for the long run. That looks like they're proceeding upon. I'm really impressed with Mike Bliss, though. He qualified the car well. We know this race team's a little bit under budget, but Mike is doing an excellent job staying around that top 10. He's hitting all of his marks. Could be a great day for Mike Bliss in that 44 crew.
But Austin Dillon, Marty, stretching that lead.
Well, as you can see, the 18 and the 54, they're about bumper to bumper now, as you got Joey Logano and Kyle Busch. That is the battle for second place. They are 4 seconds behind the race lead of Austin Dillon.
Yeah, it looks like that loose condition off the corner may be hampering Kyle's progress right now. So they'll get another pit stop, possibly under green flag conditions here before too long. And we're talking about that. It's a difficult pit road to get on, kind of like a couple of weeks ago we talked about Atlanta, how tough that pit road was. Very similar.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has gotten back around Elliott Sadler. Sadler had passed him just a few laps ago, so these two are battling it out for 4th position. And again, every point is so important.
These two race each other extremely hard during the race. We saw last week they racing so hard that Elliott Sadler ended up spinning and hitting the wall and doing a lot of damage to his car. He ended up coming back though and getting a 12th place finish.
If you look at the points right now, they are tied at 975 apiece. Austin Dillon 22 markers back, and this is what Dillon has to do. He has to keep several cars between him and those two.
Yeah, 22 points now is manageable over 7 races from this point forward, especially going to Kentucky next week where he really spanked the field. So could be a very good 2-week period for Austin Dillon if he can continue this.
As we mentioned, Austin has to average 3 positions better every single race for the 8 races remaining. So you're right, if he can hold on to this, but we still have a long way to go. We haven't even reached halfway on this one, and we should be seeing some green flag pit stops in the not too distant future.
Yeah, and after Stenhouse got passed by Elliott Sadler, it looked like he did something a little bit different, and I'm going to just guess that maybe when he got behind Elliott didn't drive the car in quite as far. Maybe that backed Stenhouse up a little bit with his deal, and now he's getting a big drive off, but he's getting back to the gas sooner.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. I mean, Elliott ran him down, passed him. Looked like he was going to drive away, and all of a sudden, here goes the 6th car.
On board with Alex Bowman. He's running 20th right now. He's about to go a lap down as the race leader's already gotten by him. Here comes okay, Kyle's giving him a lesson. Welcome to the Nationwide Series, Alex. 19 years old. As soon as he gets done here, he's going to jump on a plane and head to Salem trying to run the ARCA race tonight. It's about a 52-minute flight, so they've got their work cut out for him.
They're doing a good job, though. I mean, no experience in these type cars to speak of, so even though the ARCA cars are heavy, big cars, but it takes some getting used to drive these cars where you've got the tapered spacers and not the horsepower and a lot of great competition out here.
Yeah, and then you look in your mirror, you've got Kyle Busch, Elliott Sadler.
Yeah, Ricky Stenhouse, champion. Yeah,
that makes it a little more difficult too.
Definitely.
And look at these two still going after each other, fighting for second place. And there is Stenhouse now opening up about a car length and a half. back farther in 10th. There's the 31 of Justin Allgaier on the high side. Now you're looking down towards Mike Bliss. Allgaier's going to take the spot, move him into 10th. And we've got our first taker on pit road as the 18 of Joey Logano has come down. Jamie, it's all yours.
Joey told his team, I have a vibration. It's not getting better. We're in trouble, guys. We need to come now. So he's bringing it down pit road. Not exactly sure what that vibration is. So good for him to bring it down right now and change all 4 tires. You see him take the tear off there, fill it up with Sunoco fuel. But he said the car was pretty good. He was just too free on exit. So air pressure adjustment once again. You see the wrench in the back window. They did make a chassis adjustment, Marty.
And also coming down is Elliott Sadler in the number 2. And there he is on the left side of your screen, as is Alex Bowman. You see his blue car pulling in. Dave?
I checked with Stuart Cooper a few minutes ago regarding the 30 car. I said, have you improved it at all from the loose condition early? He said, I can't really tell. He hasn't said anything, but his lap times are improving just on experience. Jamie?
And Elliott Sadler in his pit box as well. A little tight into the center, but he said the last pit stop really helped his car, so they're going to keep going in that direction. He's down 13.7.
22 car Brad Keselowski at the top of your screen also made his pit stop, so he is on his way back out. Meanwhile, Austin Dillon continues to motor as he gets ready to go around Jason Bowles in the 81. 38 of Brad Sweet, this Great Clips car, and as he comes down, and here comes Austin Dillon right behind him. And let's send it first to Vince Welch.
Austin Dillon coming in as the race leader. He says the longer he's run, the more the right rear has seemed to skate, but otherwise the race car is really good. Danny Stockman, the crew chief, talking to him about making sure he gets into the box good on entry. They're going to just make a 4-tire change. No chassis adjustments, a very slight air pressure adjustment on the 3 of Austin Dillon. The 54 of Kyle Busch, too tight in the center and too loose on exit. He said that separation is just too great right now, so they're going to make an air pressure adjustment, also a track bar adjustment for the 54. Jamie?
And Sam Hornish Jr. in the 12, tight into the corner, but he's a little loose center off. They said they're going to make a wedge adjustment a little bit more. They did that on the last stop to help this car. It's coming around, though. He's able to move up the track, and that was better than he could do last time. Dave?
Ricky Stenhouse had run 3rd and then stayed out to lead a lap. That's a championship point, significant for this 6 bunch. He gets a wedge adjustment, 4-tire change, and air pressure. Remember, mostly tight on this run for Ricky Stenhouse.
Well, you saw the time there, and you saw the problems with Sam Hornish Jr.'s. They had a problem on the jack on the right side. Now, when this all sorts out, Austin Dillon had a 5.4-second lead over Ricky Stenhouse before those stops. Now, here comes the 43 in, Doc.
Second place car, Michael Onetti, said the car is free, just not getting better. It got better on the first run, but this one it didn't tighten up at all. Going to add a rounder wedge in the left rear to try to tighten up a little bit, get him able to turn. Now the 7 car also coming in, Danica Patrick. She's been fighting a very, very loose race car. They've made a major track bar adjustment. She said it's gotten better, so needs to go a little more in that direction, which they have done now with track bar and air pressure for Danica.
17 seconds on the stop. You're looking at Justin Allgaier on the right side of your screen. He is our race leader, our 7th different leader today. He last pitted on lap number 41. And there goes Ricky Stenhouse Jr. past the 2 of Elliott Sadler. Here comes the 54 as well with Kyle Busch at the wheel.
Yeah, I didn't see Kyle's pit stop, but apparently he had a little bit of a miscue somewhere in there too, because he lost quite a bit of time.
On board with Elliott. The 31 has now come down pit road. Dave?
And 5th in the championship, so they need championship points. They stayed out to lead a lap as well. Justin's car was loose going into the corner, tight across the middle, and loose on exit. They will make a wedge adjustment. That's the orange wrench going in to the orange 31. He'll be full of Sunoco fuel and just about complete this round of pit stops, Marty.
And on the right side of your screen, you see Stenhouse and the 54 of Kyle Busch still going nose to tail. As we cycle through right now, Cole Witt is shown on the scoreboard as our race leader. And there he is on the 80. Remember when he had tire problems a couple of cautions ago. And now he is going to peel off and head down pit road. So the full cycle is not complete yet. Behind Cole, Joe Nemechek looks like he will now inherit the race lead. Now these guys pitted on lap 48 and Nemechek on lap 49. Vince?
The 88 of Cole Witt, you did mention, Marty, that he had the left rear flat tire problem. They replaced the left side, so these are fresh right sides for the first time today. They also made a chassis adjustment, going to put a rubber in the left rear. Car's just too loose off the corners right now for the young driver, Cole Witt. Doc?
And former series champion Joe Nemechek. Front row Joe coming in. The car starts tight, gets loose, and this keeps getting looser. They're going to come in and make an air pressure change. Joe, with a minimal team, only has 3 full-time employees working on the Nationwide car, changing right side tires, trying to get him on and off pit road as you watch the 3 car. Now our leader, Austin Dillon, on the right side of your screen. Left side tires going on Nemechek's car, as he should be hopefully be able to make it out in less than 19 seconds. So a little slower stop for a team with an inexperienced pit crew.
On the right side of your screen, it has cycled through, and Austin Dillon is back out in front by 3.3 seconds over Joey Logano. For Austin, he has completed 4,427 laps this year. With 91 laps to go, we are now past the halfway mark here at Chicagoland Speedway as the NASCAR Nationwide Series with 8 races to go at the start of today's event. And there is Austin Dillon making a bit of a statement here. Still got a lot of laps to go, but he's saying, don't count me out of this championship yet, boys.
Well, we said he needed to try to lead the most laps and win the race, get maximum points to get himself back in this.
Well, Austin Dillon talked about the fact, remember he made the jump from the Truck Series last year with a little bit shorter schedule to the longer Nationwide schedule. We talked to him about it.
I think adjusting to the schedule, it's a tough schedule, you know. 17-week stretch that we're on right now it's so hard to, I guess, to get, you know, get your rest and stay in tune with everything that's going on. So you have to be really focused, and it's fun.
So should we compare this to like making the jump from college basketball to the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, it is different than anything that he's ever done. Even running every weekend during the summer, those were shorter races whenever he's doing late models and stuff, and the trucks don't have this many in a row, and these longer races. You have to keep yourself ready mentally and physically.
Yeah, but he's in great physical condition. I think he's got a great attitude, goes at it in a great way. I mean, I think he is really coming on and starting to shine with this schedule that we've got. I think it actually can play to his strength.
And we mentioned going to break, he has completed every single lap this year except one, which for a rookie driver in any series, phenomenal.
Yeah, I was talking to his dad, Mike Dillon, about just that, how impressive he was beginning of the season with keeping the car straight, not putting any dents on it, finishing all the laps. And then he is really starting to be more and more competitive. And I said, I won the race at Kentucky. He said now the focus for them is to win races. That's what they want to do, is start to win races and not so much count or concentrate on the championship like he has the last couple of seasons.
Well, he's got some issues right now with lap traffic. That is Mike Wallace right in front of him. The 19 car Taylor Mousom gives way.
Yeah, I'll let him in on his daddy in on a secret. If they win some races, they'll be back in the middle of this championship. So then they'll have to start looking at that again, too. But he's handled every scenario this year. Done a tremendous job.
Checking in on Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Right now, he is in 4th position, 5.9 seconds behind the race leader, Dave Burns.
They still do not have a handle on this 6 car, Marty. He radioed into his crew chief. I think we made the wrong adjustment on that. He said, I'm okay in 1 and 2, but I am either really tight or loose in 3 and 4. In fact, I backed up my corner and almost crashed. He said, I'm not helping you, though, because I'm not giving you a lot of ideas on what to do. Just really struggling right now with the 6 car. Jamie?
Well, behind him is Elliott Sadler, who came in as the point leader by 1 over Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And it's funny, they didn't make any adjustments on that last stop, just put 4 tires on, but he's saying the car won't turn. He's hitting the splitter, and now he's saying he has a chattering right front. He said he doesn't like this set of tires, so something's going on with that right front, guys.
I think what he's talking about, a chattering right front. He's just got a little bit more push in the car than he wants. He had a really fast run in the last run. I watched some of his lap times late in that run. He was one of the fastest cars.
Yeah, hitting that splitter will help, or will make that situation even worse with Chatter in the right front.
Well, he is 4 seconds behind Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who is in 4th. He's running in 5th, and everybody is chasing Austin Dillon. Austin has a 2.4-second lead over Joey Logano as we are working lap 117 here at Chicagoland. You're looking at our race leader here at Chicagoland Speedway with 79 laps to go. That is 22-year-old Austin Dillon. He has a 1.5-second lead over Joey Logano. And there are only 13 cars on the lead lap, and it's about to be 12 because Danica Patrick in that 7 car is the last car in 13th spot on the lead lap. We were listening in on the 3 radio during the commercial break.
The next one you get to and run up on him.
Everybody stay off the radio and let him drive.
Well, we were talking about him. Yeah, what a great job he's done, but then the man spoke.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, that was Grandpa. Vince?
Well, Austin asked if he had something on the grill, and they told him no, but he might get up behind the 7 car of Danica Patrick and see if they can suck a little bit. It looked like maybe there was just a little piece of white on the front of that grill. Hard to tell if that's debris from this quick angle here, but they told him if he wanted to get right up on the backside of the 7 car, it could maybe suck it off that grill, but he chose not to.
We've got caution on the racetrack, and there does appear to be something on the 3 grill. As it looks like it was the 24, yes, with problems on the right front. Benny Gordon
broke in the suspension on that car.
Yeah, because he didn't hit anything.
I don't know how.
No, he came really close.
It's like maybe the right front upper control arm, either the arm or the bracket.
And he was running 16th 1 lap down, and I guess the biggest question everybody's going to be asking is how does that happen?
I'm sure it's a people problem. Somebody maybe forgot to tighten something, do something right here.
Well, he did a good job of keeping it off the wall. Danica Patrick will get the free pass, get her back on the lead lap. That'll be 13 cars on the lead lap.
That upper control arm has 2 bolts in it. They usually run a lot of shims, and sometimes if you don't get those bolts tight enough, this thing will get loose.
Everybody,
shims will work their way out.
Everybody pitted between laps 93 and 97 that are running up front. We're working lap number 125. You're still not within your window.
Pits are open. We are coming.
And here they come.
I think they still have to get 4 tires, even though they don't have a lot of laps.
Obviously, the front runners, led by Austin Dillon, are heading down pit road. And Dave Burns, it's yours.
Well, they've been talking about what to do for the 6 car. They've had major troubles. Rear grip seems to be the priority, but he needs overall right side grip. Wedge out, track bar down was the latest call. 4 tires. Vince?
Kyle Busch, bottom left, says he needs more front turn from entry to middle. The rest of it is good, so it's going to be an air pressure adjustment, 4 tires, and Sunoco fuel. The 3 car of Austin Dillon, he says it's just about perfect. 4 tires is all for the 3. Jamie?
And Joey Logano, 2-3 on exit, needed to turn better. They made a wedge adjustment, 4 tires, and he's second off pit road.
And you saw the problems that the 6 car had, as he's not even shown in the top 10 right now, as they lost fire in the engine. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is going to find himself in some deep trouble. He came in 4th. And that's what it took to get him back out on the track. And look at all the cars going by. 74 laps to go here at the NASCAR Nationwide event at Chicagoland Speedway as you look across the infield. And you've heard of motorized chairs? How about a motorized couch? Can you believe this? Take a look at this. This is great. Oh, what will they think of next? Great job. All right, let's go back to the 6 pit stop because this is nothing to laugh about if you're a Ricky Stenhouse fan.
See, making a chassis adjustment on the right side. It seems to be going okay to this point. And right there, stalled it. Crew trying to help him get it refired, and a ton of race cars passed him on pit road.
And while we were focusing our attention on that, here was the race off and how close it was between Mr. Logano, who's going to get the spot by just that much over Austin Dillon. And Logano's now led 60 laps. Austin has led 52. And again, it looks like the 18 is going to choose the inside for the restart. Let's get an update on that 6, who's now in 11th place, Dave Burns.
Well, some more bad news, Marty. They intended to make a wedge and track bar adjustment, but they went the wrong way on the wedge adjustment. They told Ricky about it. They discussed pitting again to fix it, but they wouldn't just be starting at the tail end of the lead lap cars. They'd have to start behind basically everybody. So they've kind of waved off on that idea. Ricky said, we're not going any further back. I'll deal with it.
And as it stands right now, he would be 7 points behind Elliott Sadler. You want to see how bad this pit stop was for the 6?
Well, the stop wasn't so bad. You see, it's about a second difference to Logano, who won the race off pit road. It's that drive time or the driver we've got in the column, but I really consider that the drive time down pit road, everything except for the pit stop.
That was the driver. He stalled the car.
This particular time it was.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Not
it can be
always
anything.
that, yes.
It could be a tire in the way. You have to stop or get blocked in. But in this particular instance, it was a driver.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's part of the driver's job, is to make sure when they finish that stop, hopefully quickly, then you've got to keep it running.
Well, we've got a few minutes before we go back to green. Let's update you on the calendar, because the Geico 400 will be here at Chicagoland at 1 o'clock Eastern tomorrow on ESPN. And then our America Le Mans Series coverage from VIR at 5 Eastern. That's on the ESPN2. Final eliminations of the O'Reilly Auto Parts NHRA Nationals. That's on ESPN2 at 8:30 Eastern tomorrow. And then our next stop on the Nationwide Series, Kentucky Speedway, 3:30 Eastern Time next Saturday on ESPN. Pace car is getting ready to pull off. There's your front row with Logano and Austin Dillon. Then it's Kyle Busch and Elliott Sadler in row 2. Sam Hornish Jr., Michael Annett with another good run going in row 3. Justin Allgaier, Paul Menard in row 4. And row 5, Brian Scott, who started 42nd, and Brad Keselowski. They come down the front stretch. Green flag in the air. Here we go. Three wide. That's Keselowski in the 22. And they're still trying for 3 wide down the backstretch. On board with Stenhouse in 11th. It's Brian Scott in the 11 right in front of him there. Meanwhile, you can see Joey Logano's opened up a little bit of ground over the 54.
Hey, you can see what a big difference this made, too, to Austin Dillon getting beat out of pits.
Contact as the 31 of Allgaier brushes the wall. He got help.
You all good?
And we're going to stay green.
It's going to have a little damage on that right rear. Hopefully it didn't get to the spoiler.
Did you hit the right front at all? Just the right rear. Okay, come on.
He was running 6th, and I think it was Michael Annett that gave him a little bit of a nudge. Go back and show you.
It's a little crossover move by Michael Annett, and he just got into the left rear of Allgaier.
Nothing much Michael Annett could do right there, to be quite honest.
Battle for the lead's getting a little tighter. Here comes Kyle Busch using that high line again. Behind him is Austin Dillon and Elliott Sadler.
Boy, Sadler really needed that last caution to make some adjustments, get that set of tires off, another set of tires on that car, because he'd fallen about 11 seconds behind the leader. I was going to make the point about Austin Dillon. He could have been leading laps under caution, which are easy laps to get, getting close to that, because he was getting close at that time to the most laps led, and now not being able to restart on the inside, he's losing laps there again. That could be a valuable bonus point to him for leading the most. He's going to have to get back in front.
He was within 6 laps of what you were talking about, but now Logano has opened up a 13-lap and counting margin. See, the top 4 have pulled away from 5th place, Sam Hornish Jr. There's Sam as he's trying to reel that group back in. There's the gap from 4th to 5th. Sam right in the middle of the track, getting a run on the 3, but not close enough to make any kind of move. season career high, 616 laps that Joey Logano has led this year. He only has 6 wins from the pole, including one of his 6 wins this season. So he could snap that hex that has been at Chicagoland. Although here comes the 54 trying to take the top spot away. And just as we saw before, he almost lost the 2nd position again. There comes the 3. Side by side. Finally holds on to the spot, but now here comes Sadler. You're on board with him as he goes around the 3 on the high side.
See right there just how rough this racetrack is. See that 2 car of Elliott Sadler's the back of the car bouncing quite a bit.
And while these guys have been going after each other, it's allowed Joey Logano to open up a little bit of breathing room. And it's also allowed Sam Hornish to creep a little bit closer to those 2. Tail happy on the 3 coming on the exit there. And now Sadler is in front.
You do not help that 2 car today.
Well, that was the 3 radio. So I guess we got our answer as far as any team orders are concerned.
Yeah, it sounds like they're all for the 3 car today.
All for one and all for me.
Yeah.
Sam Hornish Jr., he's caught up to those 2. And Paul Menard's now closing in as well. So you got a nice little 4-car freight train for me. Dillon gets back around, now opens up some space. So I guess he got the message. He's hauling the mail right now, and they're all chasing Kyle Busch. Does Kyle get his... Under our 5th caution of the day, Jason Bowles' car gave up the ghost, and he coasted on in. And now we're getting ready for the final round of pit stops. Dave Burns, it's yours.
Marty, after picking up 8 positions on that last run, Ricky believes to keep the car this way, he needs a little bit of rear grip. He may have to give up the first part of the run, but this track bar adjustment and 4 tires should help him get the rear grip. Vince?
The 54 of Kyle Busch, bottom left of your screen, needs some help in the right rear. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment left rear and a half a round out of the right rear wedge. 4 fresh tires and Sunoco fuel. Now the 3 of Austin Dillon, upper right, 1 round out of the right rear wedge, air pressure adjustment and 4 tires. Jamie?
Elliott Sadler said he's free on exit, typed in the center at 3 and 4. They said, we have a good plan for you. 4 tires, filled it up with Sunoco fuel. They also made a wedge adjustment once again.
The 12.9-second pit stop for Elliott Sadler picks him up 3 spots. He wins the race off pit road.
That was huge for Elliott Sadler.
Let's go back and show you exactly how close it was. Front fender.
Great job by the 2 car.
All right, so we'll reset everybody for you here. And looks like Cole Witt will get the lucky dog. We come back. Under our 5th caution of the day gives us a chance to show you the ticket to the race. And all you have to do is either log on or make the phone call at the bottom of the screen. Or if you're going to be at Kentucky, Dover, or any one of those tracks, stop by and say hi to all of us. And we'll see you at the racetrack. Getting ready to do the wave around. Let's focus in on who will end up restarting this race out front. Elliott Sadler. Let's go back to this pit stop. 12.9 seconds. They really did the job.
Elliott does a great job getting in the stall, getting stopped. This is the money stop. Making a chassis adjustment as well.
And I know there were people that said after the news broke that Elliott would not be with the team, that it would tear this team apart. So far, they've rallied back from near disaster last week. And look at the race off here. These guys are pulling the oars in the same direction.
Yeah, and to make those good pit stops that the crew does to take advantage of that, the driver has to do his job. Just as Andy pointed out, Elliott did a great job of getting in, didn't spin the tires really getting out, and that's what got him out front.
See the drive time just a little less too. Great pit stop, 12.5 seconds.
There were 6 wave arounds, but none of them got back on the lead lap. And it right now means we have 14 cars on the lead lap. Cole Witt did get the lucky dog. And Alex Bowman is now shown 1 lap down in the next lucky dog spot. If we have another caution, he is running 15th. So a good run for the 19-year-old. Let's get set now. We've got, well, at this time by 29 laps to go. The pace car is pulling off. And here are the 5 or 6 races on the mile-and-a-half tracks. Won by non-Cup drivers. We told you going to the break. Stenhouse has won 3 of them. It's Sadler down low. Kyle Busch right alongside. We're green. Well, look at Logano. He went down onto the apron.
Stenhouse cost himself a little bit of time right there. He'd stuck his nose under Paul Menard, but had to back out of the throttle.
And it is going to cost him a spot or 2. Here comes Sam Hornish taking a look.
Yeah, this hadn't been Elliott Sadler's strong suit. They changed their car where they were strong on short runs here back in July. They wanted their car to be a little bit better on the longer run.
I tell you, got a great restart there was the 3 car of Austin Dillon. He's in 4.
Kyle Busch. Then you see Sadler in the 2. Here comes the 12 right alongside, sticking a nose in front. That's Sam Hornish. The 3 of Austin Dillon, then the 33 of Menard, and on the high side, Stenhouse getting back into it in the 6.
Yeah, I really felt like when this caution came out that it was playing into Kyle Busch's hand. We'd seen him start slowing down after he had run quite a few laps, but he doesn't have but just 30 laps to run here, and his car's been really, really fast.
It's Brad Keselowski behind the 6. Austin Dillon trying to get around Elliott Sadler. Right now, Sadler would have a 3-point lead if these positions stay the same. That's how close this battle is. When we say every spot counts, it does.
Well, that's the top 4 and the points right there together.
Isn't that amazing? And how many times have we seen that through this stretch?
Austin Dillon wanting to change that right now, the running order of it anyway.
Boy, and he gets crowded down low. You heard earlier, there's no such thing as teammates today. They are both going after a championship. Stenhouse, meanwhile, says, I'd like to get between both of them and take both spots away.
Well, you can see his car's really strong up top. He was able to get on the bumper of Elliott Sadler and push him back by Austin Dillon.
And here he comes on the high side still.
Maybe 3 wide.
Wow. Sadler gives him room. Austin goes down on the apron, and look at Stenhouse get past both of them. So Ricky Stenhouse Jr., after taking the gamble on the restart, recovers, and you're on board with Dillon right now.
Yeah, Stenhouse got a fast race car. If he can dispose of Sam Hornish here pretty quickly, I believe he has enough time to get to Kyle Busch.
Kyle's lead, just to let you know, is 0.7 of a second over Hornish.
Absolutely junk.
Sounded like Elliott Sadler.
That was Sadler's radio. And there is Ricky on the high side. And he is going to clear the 12.
I love to watch this guy drive. Stenhouse, I mean, it's just every lap. He talked about backing the corner up a little bit, but man, when he gets back to the throttle, he just has no fear that he's not going to be able to hold this car wide open all the way off the corner. Right now, he's the fastest car on the racetrack.
Yeah, he was 2/10 faster than Kyle Busch while he was making that pass.
We mentioned to the beginning of the broadcast that the 6 car, the last 3 races, has finished no worse than second. And here he is again, 4th race in a row. He's running in the 2nd spot. And Elliott Sadler's going the wrong direction. Here comes Paul Menard. Now the battle for 3rd. Austin Dillon gets around Sam Hornish.
Yeah, he may have something to say about who's going to win this before it's over, too.
Last lap, fastest car was Ricky Stenhouse. Let's see what happens this time by. Guess what? Ricky Stenhouse.
By a couple of tenths again that lap.
Kyle Busch has been running the bottom. Ricky Stenhouse middle to the top. He's closing quickly.
We're watching Brad Keselowski closing on the 2 right there, and that's how far back Elliott Sadler has fallen from the race lead. And here is 1st and 2nd place with now 21 laps to go. Again, Stenhouse was fastest that last lap.
Now, Kyle Busch is going to have to try to move up to impede his progress or to make Stenhouse try to pass on the bottom, which hasn't been the best thing for Stenhouse on the bottom. This is where he wants to run.
Kyle slides up, gives him some room. Here comes Ricky. Side by side at the stripe, it looks like Stenhouse does take the lead officially at the line. But Kyle doesn't want to give it up.
No, he was trying to get over there on his quarter panel to slow him down a little bit on the entry, but there's no slowing this 6 car right now.
Stenhouse clears, and he's now back into the race lead.
He's moved, drive it away.
Wow, when they made those wrong adjustments, it set them on fire.
All Kyle Busch could do is get out of the way. That thing's like a freight train coming up through there.
And again, he was fastest that last lap. What about this one? Yep, he's still fastest this lap. How about it, Dave Burns?
The Bluebird is flying, and remember how the weekend started for Ricky Stenhouse in the wall in turns 3 and 4 in practice. I asked crew chief Mike Kelly on the right about that. He said, you know, we had another driver at Roush Fenway that always had to start the weekend by putting a mark on his race car. Greg Biffle. Remember, Greg Biffle is going for the championship in the Cup Series, and Ricky joins him there next year. It was announced this weekend. Stenhouse, out of that pack, put a mark on the car. He knows the limits.
You mentioned the Bluebird. That's for the Bluebird bus manufacturers. It's the fastest bus we've ever seen. As here comes Kyle taking another look.
I think Kyle learned something there. He's picked up a couple of tenths since he lost the lead.
Yeah, I saw Stenhouse that last lap go more towards the bottom down in turns 1 and 2. Kyle was able to make a better run at him. Wow, he drove it in there. He was talking about yesterday that he hit the wall down there when he was trying to run wide open in 3 and 4. It doesn't look like he lifted there either.
Kyle Busch, 51 career wins in the Nationwide Series, more than anybody else. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 6, but 4 of them this year. And boy, he is stretching the lead once again. Next time by, 16 to go. They work their way around to the start-finish line and sort of drop back and show you exactly what's happened. Austin Dillon is running 3rd, and you're saying, wait a minute, where's Elliott Sadler? There he is, running in 7th. And he is under attack from Michael Annett.
It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame.
Whatever adjustment they made, it didn't work.
Well, they made a great pit stop, but apparently whatever that adjustment to this set of tires is not what Elliott Sadler was looking for. That's absolutely the worst time for this, Jamie.
It's free off again, so they made actually a track bar adjustment. They thought they had a really good plan going in, but right away, Elliott came on the radio and said, we're losing grip in the front tires, and of course you can imagine it's only getting worse.
He's got his hands full right now. Michael Annett is right there with him. That's Luke Lambert, crew chief on the left. And there's nothing he can do right now to help his driver. How about the battle for 4th? Teammates from Penske Racing, Sam Hornish in the 12 ahead of the 22 of Brad Keselowski.
That's further stuff we've seen Keselowski today. He made a fast run, picked up about 10 spots from his 16th starting spot early on, but then kind of settled in from 6th back to 8th or 9th.
Yeah, we heard him say early in the race that he needed a change that they couldn't make on a pit stop. Said he needed another sway bar. Can't change that very quick.
Paul Menard is the 3rd car in that mix in the 33. Here comes the 22, goes down onto the apron. Still hasn't cleared Hornish, though. Does he get him through 1? Looks like he's got him now. While all this is going on, we can tell you that Stenhouse has opened up a 1.1 second lead as we have 13 laps to go. Menard pulling up on Hornish. Stenhouse out in front. The championship battle could be changing. The lead for the title could be changing by the end of this race. Here comes Menard side by side. It's the best battle we have going on the racetrack right now. Move Menard into 5th, bump Sam back to 6th.
See, Elliott Sadler right behind this has his hands full of Michael Annett, whose car has seemed all day to kind of get better with the more laps that he's been able to put on his tires.
Elliott's running about 0.4 of a second slower than the race leader right now. And here comes Annett trying to put him another spot back. He came into this race, Elliott did, with a 1-point lead in the championship. It looks like he's going to leave in 2nd place. 10 laps to go. That's Brian Scott in the 11 car. Remember, he started 42nd in this field. And he is looking to pick up a spot at Elliott's expense.
Yeah, nice run Brian Scott's made from the back of the pack today. Doing a solid job up inside the top 10, trying to take the 8th spot away from Elliott Sadler.
That has calmed down for the moment, so let's shift our coverage back to our race leader. There is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. It's about a 1-second lead, and we talked to him about having the confidence to win at any racetrack.
I feel like we can win at every single racetrack we have left, and the guys feel that way, and that's going to make it exciting going into the rest of the year. I think it would be awesome. Last year in the chase, Tony won 5 of 10, so maybe we can win 4 of 8. That would be cool.
Well, and the thing you have to remember is he's already won 3 times on the 1.5 mile. This would make it number 4, and there's still 5 more 1.5 mile tracks in the last 7 races.
I kind of see where his confidence is coming from.
Yeah, I understand that, Pete. Next time by, there'll be just 7 laps remaining. And Stenhouse, with his crew chief Mike Kelly looking on with a lot of confidence right now, as they are opened up a 1.1 second lead over Kyle Busch. And how frustrating can this be for Kyle? You mentioned it. Best car he's had, best opportunity to win with his own car, and it looks like he's not going to do it again.
It seems like there's always one guy that's got to be a little better, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I think they have to take some good things away from this as they move forward, that this is the best that we've seen them. Their cars before had some speed, didn't have the speed that they had today, but they would really fall off in a longer run, and we really haven't seen that happen. So they're moving in the right direction for sure.
6 laps remaining. Remember the race here earlier this year? Stenhouse led 135, ended up in the green-white checker, finishing 2nd. He has led just 16 laps today, and here he is. He's up front and pulling away.
He's being good at the right time.
Well, you could always give me the checkered flag over that 1 point for leading most laps.
He's got it dialed in right now, that is for sure. 5 to go. And boy, is this going to shake up the points. If he holds on, he'll take over the points lead.
Yeah, the way it's looking right now, Elliott would be 9 points back. That'd be a 31-point swing in the last 5 races, from which Stenhouse was 22 points behind.
Now 4 laps to go. And all he has to do is just cruise right now. I mean, nobody has anything for him.
No, but cruising isn't the easiest thing to do sometimes, especially for somebody like this who's wide open all the time. I don't know that he understands the word cruise.
Yeah, remember what did he say when he scraped the wall in practice? Why'd you do that? Well, because I wanted to see if we could make it stick. It didn't work, but it's worked so far today. 1.7 seconds now the race lead with 3 laps to go. He's just running away from the field.
He's running faster laps right now than what he did whenever he was running Kyle Busch down.
You can see he's not leaving anything to spare either. He just looked like he may even scrape the wall coming off the corner of that lap.
Handles the bumps through 3 and 4. Just on a nice Saturday afternoon drive. Here we go with 2 laps remaining. Just 3 more miles.
2-second lead.
Last time, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was the race or the points leader back at Charlotte, race number 11. This is race number 26. It's taken him that long to put himself in this position.
I think what's been great about watching these nationwide drivers this year is when they compete against the Cup guys, they're really holding their own and winning these races against them.
White flag is out, mile and a half to go, and the lead is now 2.2 seconds. Don't have to worry about fuel, you don't have to worry about traffic, and there's certainly nobody closing from behind. Ricky takes it down into turn number 3. It'll be his 7th win in his 99th start and his 5th
badass school bus, bud. One badass school bus right there. Good job, boys. You got Jack's first win in Chicago.
We overcome them. Great job. Great job.
Got Jack his first win in Chicago, buddy.
Oh, Jack.
The first Bluebird school bus was built in 1927. I guarantee you that's the fastest one. The guys have had a lot of fun with the Bluebird sponsorship, and boy, Mike Kelly and his crew did one heck of a job today, and I still want to hear that explanation about the adjustment that was supposed to be wrong but turned out to be really right.
Well, whichever way it was, it turned out to be right.
Doc, let's hear from Mike Kelly.
Yeah, let's ask him about that. Now, explain to this, Mike. I understand you guys went the wrong way on a wedge adjustment, but the car went the right way on the racetrack. How does that work?
Well, we were making real small adjustments, and we made another one to try and compensate for it at the same time, not knowing we were making the wrong adjustment, but we'd made a bigger adjustment on the other side of it, and I just can't thank Ricky enough, and Ford and Bluebird school bus, you know, get Jack his first win in Chicago. A lot of people have been up here, and we've tried, and we've came close, and it's really nice to cap this thing off today. And I think we got the points lead, and I think we might be leading the owners' points, and it's going to be fun from here on out.
How about that for a day for Roush Fenway, guys?
Yeah, Doc, not too shabby, and you're right. It's the first win for Jack Roush and Fenway Racing, any division here at Chicagoland. Hey, for those of you waiting for ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels, our coverage is beginning on ESPN News. And at the top of the hour, we'll keep you informed. As quickly as we get done here, we'll send you to the game, Florida versus Tennessee. Very frustrated Elliott Sadler. He is no longer the points leader since Charlotte. Back at race 11, he is now 9 points behind. 34 markers back is the 3-car of Austin Dillon, and 57 points behind is the 12 of Sam Hornish. Dr. Jerry Punch is caught up with Austin Dillon.
Austin, an impressive third-place finish. Tough there at the end, though.
Yeah, you know, we had a really good car all day. Fought trash on the grill most of the day, too. I don't know why we kept running over stuff, but American Ethanol Chevy was really good. I really wanted to get him a win. I think that was their last race for this year, but that was it's been a great run for them, and I'm having a blast driving this number 3. And I want to thank Nationwide Insurance and Tag Heuer Eyewear for helping me out, and Advocare and Bass Pro Shops.
Austin Dillon finishing third. Let's go to Vince Welch.
With Kyle Busch. Kyle looking for Mike Kelly to give a little shake of congratulations. A good run for the 6 car, of course, getting by Kyle in the late stages of that race. But Kyle, you led 50 laps. It seemed like your program really took a step forward today. What was your assessment of it?
Yeah, we had a really good car. It ran well throughout the race and was fast. You know, I thought that there wasn't anybody back there that we had to deal with, and then the 6 comes out of nowhere there at the end. I don't know where he come from, but they had a fast race car. So you know, really excited about that run, though. We had a solid run, ran up front most of the race, was able to capitalize on a good finish there, and you know, hopefully we can build on that and keep it going. A couple more mile and a halves coming up this year.
Kyle Busch second today, Marty.
And now 6 of 7 winners on the mile-and-a-half tracks, non-Cup competitors. And remember when a few years ago we were wondering if any nationwide regulars would ever win? Look at the way it's turned out now.
They are really doing it this year.
Ricky right there at the start-finish line, checkered flag in hand. Here are the updated points, and you can see that, as we mentioned, Ricky now leads by 9 over Elliott Sadler with 7 races remaining. We head to Kentucky next week, where Austin Dillon picked up his first win earlier this year, and he's still in that same boat. In fact, now he's going to have to average even better because he dropped 4 more points behind the points leader. And there's Elliott and crew chief Luke Lambert discussing things.
Yeah, you always want to know as a driver, you know, exactly what were the adjustments, what was the thinking there. And it's just unfortunate when that adjustment comes on your very last opportunity to make an adjustment, and you lose a chance at winning and lose points.
Dr. Jerry Punch is caught up with Brad Keselowski, who finished 4th today.
Brad, I heard you say you needed a front sway bar change. They couldn't do that on pit road, but they did make some adjustments and got you a 4th place finish.
Yeah, you know, everybody in the Discount Tire team fought hard all day long. Didn't quite have what we needed, but didn't give up on it. And, you know, a 4th place finish is a result of that.
Brad K trying to getting it done in the top 5 after winning here a year ago. Marty?
All right, thank you, Doctor. Looks like they're ready for everything to happen down in Victory Lane. Yep, Ricky Stenhouse has made it. Let's take you there now.
It took a long time for the car that many predicted would be in Victory Lane today to get to the front of the pack. How would you describe what just happened, Ricky?
I was never giving up. We had an okay car. It seemed to take a while to get going, but our Bluebird Mustang, that last run was the best it was. Mike made some great calls. I stalled all of them. I stalled it, and that put us far back, and I drove back up to 3rd, and you know, it's just an all-around team effort. I got to thank Nationwide Insurance, everybody that helps with this, Cargill Beef, NOS. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Jack's first win at Chicago. That was pretty cool.
And the championship lead for Ricky Stenhouse. Marty?
All right, thank you very much. The Geico 400 at Chicago will be 1 o'clock Eastern tomorrow on ESPN. We're going to be sending you to college football. That's Florida and Tennessee. For our entire ESPN crew, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks for joining us. Till we meet again.